Hello, Corey with Creative Habitats Landscaping, talking to you about my ideas about how we can take a pretty boring landscape and make it a lot more interesting. So, the first thing that I see is this resource in the wall. Currently, a straight wall is not terribly interesting, it's hardly an artistic element. So, one of the first things that I propose doing is taking a boring straight wall and turning it into a work of art. By simply adding curves to the existing wall that you have, we can make that a beneficial aesthetic element to your landscape. So let's look at the big picture. So what I've done is I've taken a straight wall and I have brought some curves to it. Now, the purpose of doing this is as traffic goes by, if it's a straight wall, you're not going to really see anything on that landscape. Just like you don't put a billboard in this plane, you put it in this plane to be visualized. That's what I've done with this landscape. I've taken your straight wall in this direction and I've bent it to come around through here so that as people drive by, they see some of these focal points that I've added to your landscape. So the main focal point is a Crimson Queen Japanese maple right here. And this is what that particular tree looks like. Other elements of this design that I put in here is the option of pots. These are not a necessity, but it's certainly an option. I've added in sweeping color with some sort of perennial. A couple recommendations would be daylilies, black-eyed Susans, purple coneflowers. In the background, right through here, I've got just an evergreen backdrop. So let's take a look at what some of those plants look like. So we've already looked at Crimson Queen Japanese maple. This is a tree-form ligustrum, and I have that right here in the corner. I've also, you'll see later, I've repeated that concept up here by your house. Color. The perennial color can be created by using black-eyed Susan, by using daylilies, or purple coneflower. There is a plethora of different perennial color that can be in here that will add a lot of interest to your landscape. So as we look at the house, now this shows you the wall, but let's take a look at your house. The layout that I had here with the tree-form ligustrum, I've repeated that by your house. Underneath that, we have Encore azaleas. These are emerald green arborvitae. This is a live oak, and again, I've repeated the Encore azaleas through here. Let me show you what some of these look like. We'll zoom in here a little bit. So these are the emerald green arborvitae. It's a shorter and skinnier evergreen arborvitae. As live oak matures, this is what it looks like. In terms, everyone knows azaleas, but there's a plethora of different azaleas that we could be putting underneath there. So let's zoom back out to the main part of interest in your landscape, which is down by the road. So again, here's the tree-form ligustrum. I've repeated that sequence here. I've added unity by repeating the azaleas throughout the landscape. And then just to review, we've got the evergreen screen back here. Now, I've drawn these as individual bushes, but I recommend that these be maintained as a hedge. So there's a hedge of some sort of an evergreen here with color in the front of it. In here, I've added in some interest. That could be with Hymenicalis. It could be with amaryllises. A lot of different things that could be in here. Let's see what those look like. So this is the hedge that I was describing. This is another example of a boxwood hedge. This is a yaupon hedge. Pots. Love to do a blue pot. And then in that pot, around that pot, do something like an amaryllis. Something that's really eye-catching that you could actually cut these and bring them into the house as cut flowers. This is the Hymenicalis, also known as Peruvian daffodil. In the pot, this is a succulent. It doesn't need a lot of water, xeriscape. So what we could do, this is the same thing. This is lemon ball sedum. What I'd love to do is on the pots, do some lemon ball sedum, have it trailing over, and then add some other supplementing succulents in there. I also see that your neighbor has used crepe myrtles. So what I would do with that would be consider looking at what bloom color these are and then adding those, even though those aren't your crepe myrtles, adding those over here to, again, to unify this whole landscape scene. So that is a tour of my ideas, and this is a start of what we can do for you. If you like it, great. If you don't, give me some more feedback on it, and we'll go back to the drawing board. Thank you so much, Corey with Creative Habitats Landscaping.